Hello and welcome to ACE Anthropology. In this video, we are going to talk about Chapter 2, particularly topic 2.1, which is the nature, culture. In this particular video, we are going to discuss the nature, characteristics, attributes, and various types of cultural processes, and we'll be discussing about the ethnocentrism versus cultural relativism. For this particular topic, that is 2.1, notes from Braintree will be sufficient. Yes, you definitely can go and check out various online sources, but as far as this topic is concerned, Braintree there will be enough notes in Braintree. So these are the topics that we are going to see today, and let us see how many topics that we have covered. See, nature, yes, we have covered. Then there is characteristics of culture, that is what we have covered. Then ethnocentrism and cultural relativism is what we have covered. Yes, there is also a topic called as civilization, so we'll write down civilization and we will talk about it in this particular lecture only. So let us start with it. So the first topic that we are going to discuss is the nature of culture. Nature of culture. Nature of culture. So these are some of the points that you have to remember in order to recall it, and not more than that, not more than this will be required for this particular chapter. So these are this is something, we'll call it as a gist of this particular 2.1, which will be sufficient. So the first is the nature of culture, historic. Second is unique. Third, culture is non-genetic. Fourth, culture has unity and diversity. Culture is historical in the sense that we can trace back the history of its evolution from society A to society B, as well as we can find the relevance, or we can find culture itself as a thread which is connecting the same civilization from its ancient version to the present version. So the culture is definitely historic. Second, it is unique. As far as the term culture is concerned, we will write down its definition, which was given by E.B. Tylor. So according to E.B. Tylor, culture is a complex whole of knowledge, art, belief, customs, practices, folklore, anything that you can add here, folklore, etc. Complex whole of knowledge, art, belief, customs, practices, morals, and all other habits and capabilities which are acquired by human being which are acquired by human being as a member of society. So this is the definition that one have to remember throughout this journey, the definition of culture. And there are some definition, but this is definition which is mostly accepted in many spheres. So if there is a definition that we have to write, we'll write down this definition, that culture is a complex whole of knowledge, art, belief, customs, practices, morals, folklore, and all other habits and capabilities which are acquired. So this is something which is important here, acquired. And second is by human being as a member of society. So these are the things that human can achieve or acquire only being a member of society. The second is, it is non-genetic. It means that human do not transfer this culture as a unit from generation 1 to generation 2. This is something which a person has to acquire. So according to definition, we can say that it is non-genetic, right? Because one has to acquire it. It is not something that person can genetically transfer. The last point here is unity and diversity. You see, there is unity of culture throughout the world, that there is some other form of culture throughout the world, yet they are diversified. So this is what comes under the nature of culture. If anything comes out of it, start with the definition and give this nature of culture and end the topic. The second thing here is, characteristics of culture. Characteristics of culture. That what are the characteristics of culture? So even if question comes on this, we'll start with the definition of culture, right? And then you will write down the characteristics. So yes, there is something that you remember it as the above portion, that is the nature of culture as hung, 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 UD. H stands for historic, U for unique, N for non-genetic, and UD is unity and diversity. So hung, UD is the nature of culture. The next topic that we are starting is characteristics of culture. So first we'll write down the definition of it, right? And then after definition we'll write down the characteristics. So the first is that it is learned. So first characteristics of culture is, it is learned from generation to generation, right? It is not something which is passed, it is not genetic, so one has to learn at every generation. The second is, it is social. As culture is something which is related to societies, or without human there is hardly possibility of flourishing of a culture here, right? So human as a member of society and being a social animal is able to carry culture with it. The third is inculcated. The fourth is adaptive. Fifth is gratifying. Culture is structural. Culture is dynamic, right? It means it is not static. Culture is ideational, and culture is integrative. So the short form for everything is LISA from GS class, was from Instead of IIT, you write down IID. L for learned, I for inculcative, S for social, A for adaptive, G for gratifying, S for structural, I for ideational, I for integrative, and D for dynamic. So this is the characteristics of culture, and this is how you're going to remember and write down anything if something comes on the topic of culture. For reading this thing into details, go to Braintree material volume 1. Here will be fine. The next topic here is attributes of culture. Attributes of culture. As far as this topic is concerned, there is important that we should write each and every attributes and explain them in brief detail. For this complete chapter, the very important thing will be the notes from Braintree. Apart from that, the short notes which we are writing here will be something that you'll be able to repeat this chapter within half an hour. Before, if you're studying this, if you want to revise it, you can revise the chapter within 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever according to your preparation, right? So attributes of culture. First is overtness and covertness. Overtness and covertness. You see, some part of the society is there which is visible, so you can say that that's overt, but there are some parts of the society which is not evident or which we cannot see directly. That is the parts which are hidden, that is covert. For example, you can see that there is equality in society and everything is going good, that is overtness, but at the same time you will find certain portion of the society which is taking it backward, and these topics will cover them in covertness, or which are not visible. Basically, overtness is something which are visible, and covertness are something which is non-visible cultural elements. Overt are visible cultural elements. Second is explicit and implicit. Third is ethos and eidos. Ethos and eidos. The fourth is ideality and reality. The fourth is ideality and reality. That we know that there should be no corruption, a society where there is no corruption. Ideality, reality, not possible, right? There is a society with corruption. So that is ideality and reality. Then fifth is organic and superorganic. This is something that you can explain, right? For example, some laws of science that you can explain. But they are superorganic, metaphysical, right? Metaphysical, which are beyond science, that is superorganic. And the last here is unique and universal. Some portion of the societies are unique to itself, while the other parts of societies are universal. For example, taboos. This is something which is universal in the modern society, whereas certain relations, they are unique to a particular society. In this attributes of culture, there are few topics that needs a basic introduction, which are cultural universal, Cultural universals are the part of culture which are present universally or which is accepted universally. The second is a cultural alternative. So this is something, even if we do not have A, we can go with the B. So that is what cultural cultural alternative is. The next is cultural specialties. We'll study them, each one of them at the end of this session or in the next video. Then there are a few definitions: contraculture and subculture. So this was also asked in exam. See, the word itself means something, right? Subculture, it means that it is a part of something, and contra, it is something which is opposing. So the definition is also the same. You know the definition of culture. So subculture is a part of culture, right? And contraculture is something which opposes the process of change or the ongoing process. There are various types of cultural processes, right? Cultural processes. There are various types of cultural processes, which are: first, evolution. Second is diffusion, evolution, diffusion, transculturation, acculturation, and enculturation. All of them, that is evolution, diffusion, transculturation, acculturation and enculturation, are the topics for short notes, and we'll make short notes of them individually in the same playlist. You will find these videos in our future classes. So for now, all you have to remember is that these are the cultural processes, right? Or these are the types of cultural processes. That is evolution. Evolution is basically something from homogeneous to heterogeneous, or from simple to complex. Diffusion is something that from A to B, this trends, some of the trends gets diffused, right? So that comes under diffusion. And similar are transculturation, acculturation and enculturation, for which we'll make us separate short notes in the coming lectures. The next topic here which is important is, yes, there are different type of culture, but there has to be some functions of it, right? So the next topic here is function of culture. Function of culture, that why particularly the culture exists. So the first and important is that culture makes man a human being, because alternatively man is nothing but a man, or here I'll use human will be fine, right? Man is something, is animal. Culture is something which makes it a social animal, right? Second is culture provides solution. It provides solutions to the problems. It also provides traditional interpretation and Culture keeps social relationships intact. Culture broadens one's view or one's perspective, and culture, most importantly, creates and satisfy needs. Culture. So these are the functions of culture that one has to write down. I hope you're writing these particular points down, because these are important and this is your answer fodder. Right, so function of culture: culture makes man human being, or culture makes human being. Then it provides solution to the problems. Then it provides traditional interpretation to the interpretation to certain situation. Then it provides social relationship intact. It keeps social relationship intact. It broadens one's view, and it create and satisfy the need of a person. So the next topic that we are going to discuss is, if there are some functions which culture has to do, then there has to be some components, right? Components of culture, that with the help of which culture will be able to fulfill the needs which it has created in the society. So in the culture component of culture, the important here is patterns of culture. So there are different type of patterns in the culture that we are going to discuss. For example, here C.L. Strauss has also given some of the patterns. We will discuss about them individually, because this particular topic also worth of short answer. So this topic is very important, that patterns of culture, because recently there has been no question asked on this topic. So there is good probability that in near future a question will come from this topic, and it is important. Here we will write down certain things about it. It is that Clydach Lacombe, pardon me if there is something wrong in the pronunciation, he classifies this pattern into 5 categories. He classifies this pattern into 5 categories. The first is compulsory. Second is preferred. Third is typical. Fourth is alternative, and fifth is restrictive. You can read in details about them from our source, that is Braintree. But even if you're not doing it, we will have a separate lecture on cultural patterns, right? Component of culture and cultural patterns, where we will discuss about this in totality. So here the only thing is that what are these particular points. See, compulsory is something that there is a compulsion on a person that he has to do that thing. For example, consider a situation of marriage. So there are some compulsory situation, like it is a traditional or orthodox family, then there will be a kind of arranged marriage, that is compulsory, whatever will the person get. Then there will be a preferred one, that one has to marry from his own caste or religion, so that it will be preferred. Alternative means there will be a choice, that if not this, then this. And restrictive is something that one should not marry in this particular religion or in this particular caste, that will come under restrictive. And we will discuss each one of them in totality in the separate video lecture. But here our main focus was on nature, characteristics, ethnocentrism and cultural relativism, etc. So these are the key points in this unit, right, from where the question comes. So we have discussed nature, we have discussed characteristics. Now we have to discuss about the civilization and ethnocentrism. So we will start with it now. Ethnocentrism. So ethnocentrism is basically a feeling of in-group and out-group. Feeling of in-group and out-group, that comes under ethnocentrism. The concept of ethnocentrism is itself a negative connotates. Negative. The concept of ethnocentrism itself is negative, right? But you can see that this concept of ethnocentrism is in some other way is universal in nature, and the scope is continuously increasing, that people are getting ethnocentric. This is true reality. You will understand this by an example of double moral standard. For example, when the US president says that when there was a crisis-like situation in Syria, so US president said that they will first evacuate or first allow the citizen of Syria which are Christian, that they'll first allow Christians to come and have refuge in USA. That is what was said by US president. But when certain situation happened in India, that Indian government tried to give such kind of refuge to the minorities, persecuted minorities of the our neighbors. So that in that particular situation, there were few global or particularly US Senate members were criticizing Indian government on this particular part. But they did not criticize this, but they criticized us. That is what it shows, the double moral standard, that whatever they do is right, but if we do something, that is definitely wrong. That comes under ethnocentrism. So there is definitely in-group feeling and there is out-group feeling. In ethnocentrism, basically there is a feeling of this superior and inferior, that one's own group is superior and the other anything which is at periphery. So here there is superior, and which are the center of everything, and then there are in the peripheries, right, that they are inferior. So this is what comes under ethnocentrism. See, the situation of race and racism is similar. There are people who think that they are superior than other people, and that is how this kind of philosophy is continuously present in the society. Even after so long year of struggle, things are the same, right? So this is it. The next here is ethnocentrism is universal phenomena that we have discussed, right? That throughout the globe you go, you will see this feeling of in-group and out-group. Currently there was a situation of Black Lives Matter, so there is still this kind of racism which is going on in USA, and it has to do with ethnocentrism, that white people think that the culture is superior than the other part, and that is how this thing continues. See, there are some types of ethnocentrism, right? Ethnocentrism. The first is basically positive. The second type of ethnocentrism is negative, and the third is neutral. In positive, basically it is that their culture is best, but they have to do nothing with the other culture, right? In negative, they say that only their culture is best and there is no other culture. In neutral, basically they have to do nothing with any one of them. And there is also extreme negative, that only their culture is there and there is no other culture. In this negative, they'll accept that there is culture, but they are inferior. Here they say that there is only one culture and that is our culture and that's superior and there's no other culture. The next topic here is the cultural relativism. Cultural relativism is something which we call it as a response towards ethnocentrism. Cultural relativism is nothing but response towards ethnocentrism. So it is defined as, cultural relativism is defined as something that nothing or no culture is superior or inferior in front of any culture, and there is no standard culture which defines a criteria of being superiority or inferiority. So cultural relativism is something that you have to study the society or culture in isolation or without being prejudiced or without being keeping certain views that these things are good or that things are bad. So I'll give some of examples that cultural relativism was basically a brainchild of Franz Boas. This Franz Boas character will come in historical particularism, and throughout the theories we'll find that definitely there were evolutionists who started it, but the historical particularists, after collecting data, they made it important. They actually created a discipline which was having a weightage in society or in the other disciplines too. So cultural relativism is described as a method whereby social and cultural phenomena are perceived and described in terms of scientific analysis and detachment. Scientific analysis and detachment. So cultural relativism is a cultural phenomena where we perceive it and describe it in terms of scientific explanation or analysis and detachment. See, the cultural, there is a basic difference between cultural relativism and ethnocentrism. So there are only three little points. The first is cultural relativism is inclusive. It is of a nature that it includes many of the part, but ethnocentrism is exclusive. Cultural relativism is open-minded. Ethnocentrism is closed-minded or narrow-minded. Cultural relativism is sensitive, and cultural ethnocentrism is culturally insensitive. In Africa, there were 4 tribes. They were headhunters, and the election of their tribal chief used to be of bloodshed, that the tribemen of 4 tribes will come. Anyone who wants to be the chief will fight, and the one who will last till the end will used to be declared as head of that tribe. But after colonization, this practice was discontinued, or this was restricted by the colonial masters. So what happened was that the people could not find their head, and they started clashing with each other and also with the other tribal areas of past, and somehow they just disappeared from the scene. So yes, there are situations where there's need of involvement of the outsider, but with the involvement of outsider, a complete tribe may be wiped out from the existence. So that thing can happen. So in this particular video we talked about the nature, then we discussed the attributes of the culture, we talked about characteristics. After that we came to the various types of cultural processes. Though we have to write a separate answer or short notes on cultural processes, then there were cultural patterns where we have to write separate answers on that. We have our answer ready for nature, attributes, character, and nature of yes, in the next video we also have to talk about civilization, right? The next topic that we discussed was ethnocentrism and cultural relativism, where we are notes ready with this particular topic. So I hope you enjoyed it, understood well. If there's something that needs explanation, you can simply put it in comment box. I'll be gladly answering that. So thank you, and for the next video our topics are final, which are civilization, cultural pattern, and cultural processes. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Have a great time ahead.